What's up, gladiators? And welcome back. Today I want to talk about upcoming changes to the PvP, the new arenas, battlegrounds, new world PvP events, and how it's all going to be different from Era and even different from the last TBC iteration. Now, if you played Classic WoW and reached a quote-unquote peak of the Era PvP, rank 14, you probably got PTSD. It was a singular, miserable, massive mountain of climb rankings, min-maxing, and endless hours in Alterac Valley. But with the Burning Crusade approaching, everything's going to change now. See, Blizzard completely overhauled the player versus player experience in TBC, shifting away from a sheer time sink model to one actually based on skill, team coordination, and strategic objectives. We are moving away from the rank 14 grind to the golden era of the arenas. In this video, we're going to cover everything you need to know about PvP in the Burning Crusade. We'll break down the new honor and arena point system, how the seasonal gear progression works, the new stat resilience, the changes to meta from upside down, and the massive open world PvP objectives scattered across Outland. Now before we begin, if you find this video at all helpful or informative, please help me out, return me the favor by liking and especially subscribing to the channel. It's free, but it helps my young channel tremendously. Thank you so much. So anyway, let's dive in. So while in Era, if you wanted the best gear, you were required to run raids with other 39 people. There was no other way of obtaining best or near best in slot gear. If you didn't run the raids, you were at a great disadvantage to those who did, which kinda sucked for people who worked odd hours or only had a few hours to play a week, without being able to commit to a specific time every single week. Furthermore, some people just don't want to play with other people. They just want to play alone and don't care for social aspect of the game. Well, all that changes in the Burning Crusade. While to get best PvE or raiding gear, one would still need to dedicate time to raids, but with the reduced raid size, pugging should be much easier now. Furthermore, now players can obtain the best in slot and very powerful PvP gear without ever stepping foot into a raid or a dungeon. Now personally, I would absolutely recommend to experience both of the two worlds, do raids and PvP. Besides, some PvE items are best in slot for PvP and vice versa. Not many, but a few. Now here's for example how raid gear compares to the PvP gear from the same phase. We're looking at phase 1. First, let's talk about currency. The biggest foundational change in the Burning Crusade is the split between the two distinct types of points, honor points and the arena points. So think of honor points as your baseline currency. You earn this exactly how you'd expect: honorable kills, completing battleground objectives, and participating in world PvP. But unlike Classic, unlike the Era, you don't need to worry about ranks. Matter of fact, ranks are going to completely go away, and whatever rank you have already obtained, it'll stay as a cosmetic reminder of a hideous system and a painful grind. Now you will farm honor, store it, and use it as currency. Think of every honor point you get a copper penny. So you'll use your honor points to buy your entry-level level 70 PvP gear, usually the rare or the blue quality sets, as well as the offset pieces like bracers, belts, and boots. Also, the past season's arena gear once it gets discounted. It's also important to note that you can bank up to 75,000 honor points. Anything beyond that will not be saved. Yeah, it is unfortunate that world PvP will again be neglected and currency it produces will be the second rate. Well, then we have the heavy hitter, the arena points. This is the premium currency used to buy the best in slot PvP gear, the epic gladiator sets. So you earn these points based on your arena ratings, and they are awarded weekly during the Tuesday's reset. You can cap these points at 5,000, so if you're approaching that number, make sure you spend it. So basically the loop is simple: grind battlegrounds for honor to get your starter gear, jump into arena to earn points and get your endgame gear. But honor points are not useless. You will need them along with the battleground marks to buy your offset pieces, gems for your gear, and PvP consumables. Also, like I mentioned earlier, your old season's purple gear will get discounted once seasons progressed, and you should be able to buy that with honor as well. Now, some gems that can be bought with honor points are BOEs and will be able to be sold in the auction house. Now let's get into the heart of the PvP or TBC PvP, the arena system itself. So arenas are instance death matches. There's no flags to capture, no generals to kill, just your team versus theirs. You can form teams in 3 brackets, 2 versus 2, 3 versus 3, and 5 versus 5. Now another thing, in the arenas, you're not necessarily going to be matched against the enemy faction. You may be matched against your own faction in a 2 versus 2, 3 versus 3, or 5 versus 5 battle. Now, to participate, you no longer need to form an official team or pay a fee. Blizzard has changed that for the anniversary servers. Furthermore, now all players will start with a rating of 1500 and will not require a set of fixed teams to play. While you will still be able to group with your friends, you could also join solo whenever without a team, so you can be paired with that random griefer. But fear not, once you fall below 1500, thanks to that random griefer of course, you will be able to bribe your way back to starting 1500 with gold. And the more you suck that week, the more gold will it take. I mean, to be honest, I really like that idea. World of Warcraft desperately needs gold sinks. And while the one-time fee to form the team has been eliminated, the new fee to reset standing is a recurring fee, and the ever-increasing one if you continue to perform poorly. Now, as far as the arena points procurement, if you beat a team with a higher ranking than yours, you will gain a massive chunk of rating. But if you lose to a team much weaker than yours, your ratings takes a nosedive. And the matching system is supposed to match you as closely as equally as possible. So here's a crucial part regarding your rewards. At the end of the week, the game calculates how many arena points you get based on your rating. It's a logarithmic curve. This means that lower ratings, gaining a few ranks will give you a lot more points, but as you keep going and get very high on the high end, the points gain diminishes slightly relative to the difficulty. So also keep in mind, 5 versus 5 team awards the most points, followed by 3 versus 3, with 2 versus 2 awarding the least. Now, because of this, many players will run a YOLO 5 versus 5 team just to maximize their weekly points for income for gear. Now, the Burning Crusade also introduces the concept of arena seasons. I mentioned that earlier. A season lasts several months, and at the end of each season, some cool rewards, titles, and mounts are distributed to the top performers. If you are in the top 0.1% of the teams in your region, you earn the prestigious Gladiator title and a Swift Nether Drake, which flies 30% faster than the fastest mount. This is not just a cosmetic flex. This mount really flies 310% speed, which is faster than the standard 280% epic flying mount. For those who will not hit the top 0.1%, which is most of us, there are still cool titles to chase. The Duelist, which is the top 3%, Rival, top 10%, and the Challenger, top 35%. These titles last for the duration of the following season and will be reset once that season ends. But what happens if you start late? Well, TBC features a great catch-up mechanic. When a new season begins, say Season 2, the brand new gear costs arena points. However, the previous season's gear gets discounted. By the time Season 3 hits, Season 1 gear becomes purchasable with the honor points instead of the arena points. This means a fresh level 70 can still grind Battlegrounds to get a full set of decent epic gear without ever stepping into arena, allowing him to catch up to the power curve. Now let's talk about my favorite part of the World of Warcraft, the open world PvP. So while arenas are the competitive focus, open world PvP is where factions war really feels alive. There are 4 major objectives in the Outlands. First is the Hellfire Peninsula. Here, the Alliance and Horde fight over 3 fortifications: the Overlook, the Stadium, and the Broken Hill. If your faction controls all 3, everyone in your faction gets a zone-wide buff, increasing damage by 5%. This even works inside the Hellfire Citadel dungeons. You also earn Marks of Thrallmar or Honor Holds, which can be used to buy gear. Next, we get the Zenger Marsh and the Twin Spire Ruins. This is the capture the flag style objectives. You need to control 2 beacons and run a flag to the center tower. Controlling this grants a 5% damage buff to your faction in the whole zone and allows you to buy special items from the field scouts. Then we have the Terracar Forest and the Bone Wastes. Surrounding Aquindon are 5 towers. Controlling these towers grants the Blessing of Aquindon buff, which increases XP and damage by 5% in that area. But the real prize here are the Spirit Shards. See, when your faction controls the towers, bosses inside the Aquindon dungeons drop Spirit Shards. You can turn these in for some excellent starter meta gems, rings, and a helm. This makes the Terracar massive hotbed for PvP. Finally, the most famous of them all, the Hala in the Grand. This town sits on an island up in the sky. To capture it, you have to use Wyvern Posts to fly over and bomb the guards. Once captured, you gain access to a vendor selling rare gear and rare mounts. But to buy these, you must be using battle tokens, which are earned by killing other players in the zone. Expect some very heavy fighting here. I think this one would be my most favorite one. So, did the world PvP get fixed in the Burning Crusade? Nah, it didn't. It still lacks. But even though it is now a hell of a lot funner and more meaningful than it ever was in the era. Now, personally, I just wish Blizzard would add a risk versus reward system where players actually lose honor or lose something for losing in PvP. But I know it'll never happen. Now, the Burning Crusade also adds a brand new battleground, the Eye of the Storm. Eye of the Storm will be available only to players level 61 and up. The map is a hybrid of Arathi Basin and Warzone Gulch, so there will be 4 towers to hold and a flag in the middle. You gain victory points by holding towers, but you also can grab a flag and run it to the tower you control for a massive point boost. It requires a lot of coordination between defending nodes and pushing the flag. Now, before we wrap up, we have to talk about Resilience. So Resilience is the new PvP exclusive stat. See, in Classic Era, you could take Naxxramas raid gear and one-shot people in PvP all day long. In TBC, that doesn't fly. Resilience reduces your chance to be critically hit, reduces the damage crits to you, and reduces the effect of mana drains and dots from other players. If you want to survive in the arena, you must wear PvP gear. PvE glass cannons will simply get deleted. Well, the Burning Crusade really laid the foundation for the modern WoW PvP. And whether you're aiming for the Gladiator title, grinding honor for your starter blues, or fighting for Spirit Shards in the Bone Wastes, there is something for everyone. Now, I want to know your plans. What are you going to be doing? Are you going to be rushing to 70 to cap your arena points week 1? Or are you going to focus on world PvP in the Grand? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you found this guide helpful, don't forget to like and especially subscribe for more TBC Classic content. And hey, Gladiator, I will see you in the arena. Thanks for watching.